This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up in an hour from now, you're going to hear from Mark Medina. Jared Calhoun, head coach at Utah State, will join us coming up at 2:30. Aggies get a big win last night, knocking off Fresno State. Aggies now 21-3 on the season and 11-2 in Mountain West Conference play, as they've got a big one coming up against the Memphis Tigers. Yes, Penny Hardaway is going to be in Logan, Utah, coming up on Saturday, the Memphis Tigers. Now, when this was scheduled, this felt like it was going to be a home run. It could be a quad one, maybe at worst a quad two game for the Aggies, but Memphis hasn't really held up their end of the bargain. They've certainly had their struggles, and so it's more about Penny Hardaway coming to Logan than it is Memphis. Although, look, they're loaded with athletes, crazy athleticism. They've got a little bit of a UNLV feel to them. They could beat anybody, but they could also lose to anybody as well. So that's what Utah State's got going on in the Spectrum coming up on Saturday. Oh, my goodness, Lloyd. You ready for some bad news?
Oh, no. What?
Oh, we've lost our quarterback.
Bo Nix?
No.
He's done?
No. James Vanderbeek has passed away.
Oh, man.
From colon cancer. Made his diagnosis public in 2024, but he's going up to the, the old football field up in the sky. Man. I feel bad. Our beloved.
He has been. I followed his story a little bit. I think I follow him on Instagram, and yeah, he's been having that fight for quite a while. That's too bad.
Well, what a bummer, man.
Probably one of the more iconic high school football movies.
That's a great.
And part of one of the all-time great scenes.
Well, hopefully wherever he's at in heaven does have whipped cream. But but honestly, yeah, that's a gut punch, man. And really was the movie the movie was good. It was solid, but it was just kind of like, that was part of your growing up, was watching Varsity Blues. And look, our generation may be a little older. Mine was The Program. That was the football movie that I had growing up. But I know that next generation, a lot of millennials, hey, they were all about Varsity Blues. Not so much Dawson's Creek. I didn't really watch that. But Varsity Blues, yeah, absolutely. All right, Jaren Jackson Jr., finally in Salt Lake, got traded in the middle of that Jazz road trip. He will make his debut in a Jazz uniform tonight in the Delta Center. His Delta Center debut, and he sat down and chatted with the media for the first time earlier today.
First week with this team, and how much you've gotten to know the guys, the system, are you kind of learning every single day?
Yeah, I mean, the first couple of days I wasn't even with them. They were on the road, and I was able to go to Salt Lake with Jitty and Vince, and we're kind of just, taking it all in and getting our minds right. But, after that, meeting them in Orlando and Miami, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, you guys know them better than me, but they just seem like great guys, and they play together as a unit, and they, it's just been a great experience, made me feel welcome, everything.
You've played against this team for 8 years, and you've played in this arena. What do you think it's going to be like when the fans kind of greet you and give you your official welcome to Utah?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be loud every time I've come here. It's never been quiet. A lot of energy all the time. So, yeah, I think I'm mainly excited for that, to have it on my side a little bit. Usually you're anticipating it, trying to work through it as an opponent, but, now it's with me.
The Jazz obviously acquired you, not just for this season, but with an eye toward the future. How do you feel like you kind of fit in terms of your skill set? What do you feel like your role on this team is going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. I feel like I'm versatile. I feel like I can do a lot of things, and this system is a different offense than anything I've played in before, but it's something that I think teams, and me in particular, not have had trouble guarding, but definitely locked into guarding. I think it's a system with a lot of movement, especially offensively, and I think I can bring a lot to the table. Learning more about it every day, I learn a little bit more. So, asking me right now about it is a little bit tough, but I'm still learning like a couple things every day that would be unique to me in the system that's going to help me.
What's it like playing alongside Laurie? I mean, he has a lot of size. He's a potent weapon on offense as well.
I mean, there's not much he can't do on the floor, which definitely helps everybody on the team. And I think just being a threat from everywhere, you can't go under. When he puts the ball on the floor, you have to respect him. When you're driving at him, you have to kind of make a choice, stay home, or it's kind of lights out with him. It's been crazy to play against him for this many years and seeing him improve. And then, at this point in our careers, playing with each other, I think it's nice.
There's kind of been a lot of talk week-wide about you guys sitting in the fourth quarters of the last couple games. I'm curious, how do you feel about it?
I mean, as a player, you always want to be out there, but if you're out in the first quarter, out in the second quarter, third or fourth, I mean, you just have to make an impact when you're in the game. That's what you have to focus on. If you focus on when you're not out there, you're gonna struggle as a player. If you're a rookie, a young guy, you wanted to play in the first half and you didn't, or whatever, you play in the third, like all that comes into play, man. You have to. This is my 8th year, so stuff getting thrown at me. I feel like I have enough experience to, be mentally capable through anything.
When you look at where you started in this league, kind of as a teenager, and now you're 26, 27?
What am I? Something like that.
Something like that.
26. Yeah.
But you're rounding into the prime of your career. I mean, what's that journey been like for you? Starting out so young in Memphis and honestly going to a franchise. Obviously the geographic part is different, but a lot of similarities between the franchise that you're going to as opposed to when you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's been feels like 3 years, but it's been 8, and yeah, I'm blessed to be able to be here like this. People who get closer and closer to a decade in a year, that's special. You're in rare company at that point, and there's so many people I could give credit for helping me get to this point. But yeah, I'll probably save that for a speech down the line or something. But I just, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed for everything that's happened to me up to this point. Everybody who believed in me and helped me work on my game and trusted in me. And I feel like I've gotten better every year, and I want to continue that, no matter how old I get, So, yeah.
You know what it's like to be on a playoff team, playoff contender. Maybe not this year, but where do you see the trajectory of this team? Do you think this team, with a full season, full off season with these guys, this could be a playoff team as early as next year?
100%. I mean, my goal is to come here and win a championship here. So I don't really think my mind is geared toward anything else. That's just kind of the mentality that I have. And then when you look at who we have, like, I really like what I see.
You mentioned getting better every year. This staff prides themselves on player improvement. What's your relationship been like with Will? We saw you out there talking with him after shoot-around, but it's early. But what are your thoughts about him and the coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, our relationship started like hour 2, So it's probably the second person I talked to when I got back to my house on the phone, after seeing everybody and my own staff and everybody else, and it was a whirlwind at first for sure, but they had a game that day, and we had a game that day, and I was talking to him just about how the day is going, honestly, but right now, it's a lot of X and O's, how he sees me in certain systems, and I'm just learning terminology, the plays, different options, different reads. And then I'm kind of shooting ideas that I've had about certain things and just how we approach, practice and the games. And it really comes from a lot of me asking questions to learn about what they were doing before I was here. So yeah, we're talking about everything. Great relationship.
At 26 and 8 years in the league, you're a younger coach. How would you describe your leadership style?
I like to lead by example. I think being year 8, like the league's getting younger and younger, and everybody's just kind of like, like these guys are young. So I think just leading by example, my work ethic, and that's kind of like the main thing. Being vocal, especially defensively. I think that's where you really can make your mark. If I were to give advice to somebody for anything, to really make your mark defensively, because that's where you can be the most vocal. Offensively, you can talk offensively, but there's a lot more moving around, a lot more things you got to focus on. But if you can disrupt the other team with your voice and communicate to the guards and communicate to anybody, that's going to mess up your opponent. It's going to help. It's going to help us. So, yeah, just being vocal.
Looking at next year, you won't see it this year, of course, but playing with Walker Kessler might be one of the better defensive centers you played with. You might be at your best at roaming 4 kind of role defensively. Are you excited for that pairing with him?
Yeah, I mean, I've played with Walt before in USA, so I know what he brings to the table, and he's hard to score over. So I'm glad I'm on this side of it, and I'm glad, they're going to see me, they're going to see him, they're going to have to make choices. That's what it's really all about, making the other team make choices and giving our team a ton of them.
Curious what your perception of Utah was and the Jazz organization as an outsider for 8 years, and is there anything different that you've learned since the short time you've been here?
I think, everybody's pretty nice. I think it's a very, I don't know if it's a homey kind of vibe when you're driving around. It feels pretty homey. I don't think I got out the hotel much when I was, well, actually, that's not true. I've been here for All-Star. Summer League, I was here. I know about Park City. I know, it's beautiful views. I used to come here to ski when I was younger with my mom. So, yeah, I do kind of know. I don't think when I was younger I was paying much attention. But, yeah, I think we're selling out games. I think just the fan engagement and everybody just being happy, and the reception I've already gotten has been great. So I really appreciate that. That goes a long way for me. Yeah, and it was hard to breathe. So I'm glad to get that on my side too and get adjusted to that. So everybody else got to deal with that.
Knowing that you and Lowry are playing together, you guys are unique as 7-footers who play outside in, both shoot the ball, both put the ball on the floor. If just curious, if you were having an out-of-body experience and you had to guard 2 of those guys, how would you do that as an opponent? And
2 of who?
You and
me and him? Oh.
Yeah, 2 7-footers who play like that on the same team, kind of simultaneously. How would you deal with that, and what's that going to be like, kind of being on that side of it?
It's a blessing to be on this side of it. How would I guard it? You usually got to make stuff difficult. We're NBA players. That's how I would approach guarding other talented NBA players. You can't just expect to take away every single thing. You have to make life difficult and force them into stuff that's uncomfortable time after time, so they get tired and they just do stuff they don't want to do.
The newest member of the Utah Jazz, Jaren Jackson Jr. He's got a couple games with the Jazz under his belt, but his Delta Center debut coming up tonight, and you're going to want to get out to that because it's going to be an absolute blast seeing Jaren Jackson and, again, suiting up for the Utah Jazz. Jazz could make it easy on everybody and just float under the radar and just shut him down for the rest of the year, make up some kind of injury. That is acceptable. That's okay. You can do that, but heaven forbid you play him for 3 quarters and then shut him down in the 4th quarter. Now you're messing with the integrity of the game. So the Jazz are just being honest. They're telling everybody, yeah, we were playing him. He played, and, yeah, he didn't play the 4th quarter. Okay? That is okay. That's the problem. But if you lie and you flat out make up injuries and just say, oh, yeah, no, he's got this toenail issue it's flaring up. It's real bad. It might get infected, so we're going to shut him down. That's okay. So you can lie and be fine. Nobody blinks an eye on that one. But when you're honest and you actually play them and you allow him to play and have fans of your team be able to watch him out on the court, just not finish the game, that's messing with the integrity. That's going too far. All right, whatever. You bunch of hypocrites. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is your good, it is your bad, and yes, even your ugly. Let's talk a little BYU basketball. Last night, BYU snaps that 4-game losing skid. They go to Baylor and find a way to get the win. Now, look, a lot of people were hitting the panic button over BYU, and I understand why the concern level would be high, but you look at who they played. Arizona, again, number 1 team in the country up until they, finally suffered a loss to Kansas. Oh, and the team that beat Arizona, Kansas, was your next loss. Oklahoma State's the one you look at and you're like, yeah, that wasn't great. It was on the road. It's Oklahoma State. I get that one. That's probably the one you look at. But then you play Houston the next game at home and you lose to Houston. Well, you go on the road, you get Baylor 99-94. If there's one concern you have about BYU, it's on the defensive side. I mean, you look at the last point totals they've given up, 86 to Arizona, 90 to Kansas, 99 to Oklahoma State, 77 to Houston, and Houston is not an offensive juggernaut. They want to keep those games in the 60s, and then 94 last night to Baylor in a win. So defensively, they're still ranked 56 in defensive efficiency, but there are some elements that need to get better. Offensively, though, BYU is elite, and the one thing I do find very fascinating is like Kevin Young, you can tell, was like, all right, we got to go all in. We got to get this thing done. Robert Wright plays 40 minutes. A.J. DeBonsa plays 40 minutes. That is a sign of, hey, we got to get things going real quickly. Richie Saunders goes 36. I don't know how sustainable that is to play those guys those kind of minutes night in and night out, but they may have to. And if you want to get this thing right, then you need to go with your big guns. I remember a stretch where Craig Smith was playing Sam Merrill every minute of every available moment for Utah State coming down the stretch run of a season because he had to. You got your best player. You got to keep him on the court. You got to find a way to get wins. So DeBonsa, goes for 36 points. Robert Wright ends up with 30 points in the win. You'd love that assist number to be a little bit higher from your point guard, but he ends up with 3 assists, also pulls down 4 rebounds. He gets 4 steals in that game as well. So Robert Wright, big game for him, and then Richie Saunders does his thing. BYU had to win that game. It was a must-win game, and when they get down early, I think they trailed by as many as 12 points in that game, you started to really get concerned about where BYU was going to be at if they were to suffer another loss and make it 5 in a row. But they regrouped. The three-point shooting was abysmal, 3 of 19 from beyond the three-point line, but you get DeBonsa, who goes 13 of 16 from 2. So he finishes at the rim. Wright is able to get to the rim as well. So overall, big win for BYU, knocking off Baylor. Baylor, hey, look, let's be honest. They're not great. 13-11 on the season, 3-9 in Big 12 play. But you had to get that victory. You went out. You did it. You overcome some adversity. Now it's time to start stacking some wins. I haven't really been – I know, as I mentioned, a lot of people have been concerned about BYU. I said Monday, they're going to be fine. They're still an NCAA tournament team. They still have some of the best talent in all of college basketball. We set the sights really high for them, and when you roll out that kind of a payroll on a team, with that comes high expectations. And Kevin Young's not going to shy away from those expectations. But there's just too much talent on this team to get overly concerned about 4 losses in a row with that level of competition. Now, you're going to need to pick up some wins along the way. You're going to need to play well against Iowa State at home. That game coming up on the 21st, that's a game you're going to have to find a way to win. Arizona on the road in Tucson, probably not. But then you're going to have to make sure you beat Central Florida at home. Then you're going to have to go to West Virginia. That's got to be a win. You can't have any of these losses that are going to be head scratchers. That was Oklahoma State. You get one. That's it. Central Florida, you've got to beat. West Virginia, you've got to beat. Cincinnati, you've got to beat. And then Texas Tech will come back into the Marriott Center on March 7th to close out the year. You'd like to pick that one up. If you can finish the year with maybe just one loss to Arizona, and because the schedule does open up after that Iowa State game, it opens up in a big way for your Final Four, including a home game against Texas Tech. you've got to feast on that. You got to string together some momentum and get a solid seed going into that Big 12 conference tournament. All right, there's your good. Let's get to the bad.
Now the bad.
So Lloyd stumbled onto this audio, and I think it's fantastic. John Schneider, the general manager, who has not put together one iconic defense in the Legion of Doom that won a Super Bowl back in 2013. Then it got stripped down, and then he built up another historic defense, but also stumbled on a running back who ends up being your Super Bowl MVP in Kenneth Walker. And he, let's just say at the parade, John Schneider had one too many beverages and got in front of a microphone in front of hundreds of thousands of Seattle Seahawks fans and talked a little bit about negotiating with his running back.
To Ken Walker being the MVP, let's go! Woo! He tried negotiating with me 5 minutes ago. It was really weird. Anyway, hey, MVP, MVP, MVP.
So you get to the point where, and Lloyd, not even just if you're intoxicated that level, like we've all had those moments where we try to slip in a joke and it just falls flat. And you're like, uh-oh, I just screwed up. What do I got to do here? And so he realizes, even in his drunken state, that he screwed up and that he made a joke and it fell flat. I mean, you could hear the groans behind him.
Look at Kenneth Walker.
And
you
he's
see
right
the video
there.
He's like shaking his head, and it is so uncomfortable. Okay, what I'm going to say, they're both in a wrong place. Like probably before the parade, not the place to say, hey, let's talk negotiate. Like probably not there's plenty of time to talk. I know he's an unrestricted free agent, but then on the other side, the GM, sorry, you can't blast your MVP running back who I still say that the MVPs were the special teams, but he was your MVP, and he had not been for him, you probably would, you wouldn't have been in a place to sometimes, kick some of those field goals.
Yeah.
It was bad on both sides, but being drunk and intoxicated looks way worse.
Oh, it's so bad. It's just so bad. And honestly, too, it really cracks me up because, look, John Schneider has been an institution in the league for a long time, and he's had that job. And that dude bleeds professionalism. But when you have one too many, it all goes out the window, and you're going to say something stupid. And he did. And, I mean, look, if you're the agent of Walker, aren't you watching that and be like, all right, okay, noted, duly noted. And there's going to be competition for my guy's services coming off a Super Bowl MVP. So just know we understand where we stand with you. So if you want us to stay in Seattle, that price tag may have just gone up a little higher. So
it kind of reminded me of, as far as on Kenneth Walker's side, it kind of reminded me of, you remember on Goodfellas where they had the big heist? And the one guy came to get his cut, like literally after they just had the heist. And he's like, hey, so can I get my cut now?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of reminded me. He's like, hey, will you pay me my cut? And it's like, dude, chill for a sec. Let's enjoy the moment. Let's enjoy this together. Let's enjoy this celebration. Don't already hit me up about your raise or your contract. We're at the parade, for heck's sakes. Like, come on.
All right. So there was a. I don't know. I probably shouldn't share this story. We will. All names will be left out. This was a long time ago, Lloyd. And by the way, this was under different management and different employees. This person is no longer working in the sports media world. But we got to a point where we were able to give a lot of our guys raises across the staff. And we'd fought for it forever. Like, hey, our guys need increases. We got to get them paid a little bit more. And we got a lot of pushback. And then this, by the way, this wasn't Bonneville. This wasn't KSL. This was another group at the time. And so we fought like crazy. And, man, I did everything I could to get some increases for our guys. Finally, they give me the green light. Like, okay, yeah, we'll give them X amount percentage, this, and this. I'm like, okay, good, finally. And I'm so happy because I get to deliver the good news. And so I sit down with the guy, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I know you've been patient. I know you've been wanting this. Guess what? We got you some more money. Here's the number. And he looks at it, and he looks at me. He's like, I thought it was going to be more. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, I went out on a limb for you. Like, I worked really hard to get this for you. And you're going to, like, say something like that to me? Like, hey, come on now. Like, let's be a little appreciative. And, you know, if you're John Schneider and the rest of the Seattle Seahawks, like, now's not the time to really downplay a guy or kick him when you're trying to say, oh, yeah, he's negotiating with me is really weird. No.
That's bad timing.
You got to know the timing. Got to know the timing. And so, I mean, look, if I could have, I probably would have pulled the raise there on the spot. I was super ticked off at the time. But you know what? It is what it is. But again, I'm telling all you kids out there, even guys that have been around the league for a long time, even guys that should know better, number one, stay off the booze, especially in public. And number two, watch what you say. Don't say dumb stuff. It'll always come back and bite you in the butt. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We talked about BYU picking up their win last night. University of Utah in action as well last night against Houston. Look, Alex Jensen doing everything he can to get that program turned around. It's going to be a bit of a rebuild. Kelvin Sampson had some words to say about Alex Jensen. You'll hear those coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Believe it or not, this guy actually has friends. Nice. This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I hope you're all having a tremendous day. Valentine's Day is coming up, and just here in a few moments, we'll talk to Lisa. We're live here at Minky Couture. We don't want to mess around here. We want to get you taken care of for, again, what should be a good Valentine's Day. It's good if you get the right gift, and Lisa's going to help you out here in just a second. Last night, it was all Houston as they get the victory over the University of Utah, led by 9 points at halftime, and then it got away in the second half. Utah only scored 6 points in the first 10 minutes of the second half, and this is up against a defensive grinding team in University of Houston. That's one thing that they've done is they've bought in defensively into what Kelvin Sampson's been preaching. They'll switch everything, and they not just play defense, they embrace defense. They are all about trying to shut you down and make you look silly. And it's a squad that you know every time you go up against them, you're going to get put through the ringer. Well, last night it was the University of Utah. Utes now fall to 9-15 overall and 1-10 in Big 12 play. But if you're Alex Jensen, and look, I've known Alex forever. I consider Alex a friend. But taking the friendship out of it, Alex Jensen is far and away the right man for the job. And if for whatever reason it doesn't work with Alex Jensen at the University of Utah, then it's not a coaching problem. Because you've had Craig Smith, who is a tremendous head coach. You've had Alex Jensen, who is a tremendous head coach. You even had the back end of Larry Kraskowiak, who is a very, very good head coach. And look, it's like, you know, I make reference to the I can't remember exactly what singer was, some guy from the 70s, Greg Allman, the Allman Brothers Band. He was quoted after he got his fifth divorce where he said, maybe the problem is me. Well, if you have another head coach that can't produce at a high level, maybe the problem isn't the coaching. Maybe you got to take a deep dive inside whatever is not clicking inside that athletic department for your basketball team. Kelvin Sampson last night after the game gave a huge ringing endorsement for Alex Jensen.
Utah can turn around quickly. You know, there's a lot of tradition here, and I think Alex is the right guy. He's a Ute. You know, I know he's come from the NBA, but that bit of Ute matters. That's important to him. And, you know, these kids will, as he builds this program, I think he's going to do a great job. And I've watched him.
And honestly, he's spot on all that. Alex Jensen, far and away the right guy for the job. He will get that he will get that program turned around if he's given the right resources, if he's given the right opportunities to go out and run the program the way that he wants to win it or wants to do it. And by all accounts, it sounds like that is being put in place But I will say, let the man do his job. Let the man be able to make the decisions he needs to make, build the team the way he needs to build it, give him the resources to be successful, and Alex Jensen will knock it out of the park. I have little doubt on that. Unfortunately, I don't think that same luxury was given Craig Smith. And I think that's why Craig struggled with wins and losses down the stretch. Look, Craig Smith didn't all of a sudden forget how to be a head coach in college basketball. Craig Smith has won everywhere he's been. Whether it was at South Dakota, whether it was at Utah State, whether it was at Minot State, where all the places Craig Smith went to, he won at a high level. But it was the University of Utah where suddenly he forgot how to coach? No, of course not. The landscape changed, and the athletic department at the University of Utah wasn't ready to change with basketball. They were all in on football, but they weren't quite there on basketball. Now they are. And so give Alex Jensen, give him what he needs, and then get out of the way and let him do his thing. And you'll be fine. You'll have that program turned around. He's going to build it the right way. He's going to be just fine. But again, let the man do his job. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.